Welcome to RetroCore Volume 15, the Christmas special. In this volume we got more games than you can shake a stick at, as they say. Yep, but kicking it all off is Rocket Knight Adventure for the Sega Mega Drive. Yes, we take out our little friendly possum Sparkster and let him beat the shit out of a couple of pigs. This was Konami's first game, as far as I know, to be released on the Sega Mega Drive, and what a nice game to enter the Mega Drive scene with. While the game is far from perfect, it does have a very nice charm to it. You know, everything seems fresh and original, and exactly what you needed for the Mega Drive at the time of this game's release. We've also added in a few nice special effects, such as the water you can see here on this stage. And there's actually quite a bit of variety in the different gameplay modes as well. You've got like platform sections, you've even got some shooting sections, such as this one here. In fact, later on in the game we got a nice space section, which is definitely a take on Gradius. Graphically, as you can see, this game is quite pretty, making a nice use of the Mega Drive's colour palette, or lack of Mega Drive's colour palette I should say. But yeah, it does make good use of it. And it's got some nice effects as well, such as the transparencies on this stage. Playability wise, you can't really fault Rocket Knight Adventure. You know, it's full of nice little twists, such as this level where you got to use the lava to see where your platforms are. And the controls are very tight. You know, there's no sort of jumping and just landing in the middle of nowhere. You know, you aim for the platform, you'll get that platform. Audio wise, it's pretty good as well, and actually quite a nice refreshing sound to it. Something which the Mega Drive is missing on many of its games. Also, while you're playing the game, you'll find loads of little nice comical touches in there. So if you do ever actually manage to get yourself a copy of Rocket Knight Adventure, keep an eye open for all those little touches. So it reminds me of Metal Slug on the Neo Geo, to be honest. And with 7 stages, you certainly won't be finishing Rocket Knight Adventure in a matter of minutes, or a matter of hours I should say. Yeah, the game definitely does have a nice challenge to it, and does have a pretty good learning curve as well. You've got this little guy here, definitely looks like he's taken from Gradius. So yeah, really happy to give Rocket Knight Adventure the wonderful score of 8 out of 10. Wonderful Mega Drive game. So without its problems, it does have a bit of slowdown in there. But yeah, you can live with that because the game's just so good. So, say a big thank you to Konami for actually giving the Mega Drive something fresh. Just check out that lovely techno soundtrack.
It's time.
Elliot, do you have a password?
Time to kill.
Now what?
Time to die.
The electric system is dead. We can't get into the host of the lab.
An Angel of Good Luck. It's a limited edition. Nephilim. You hang this on at the ship's bow for protection. Pretty neat, huh?
In full scale. In full polygon world.
She likes you.
If you're looking for a weapon,
Come on, make it happen.
Snotty rat. Mother is exactly like her.
Never mind. I don't need a guardian.
She made a choice.
A new generation of adventure is beginning.
The blue light which can't be analyzed. What are they doing in such a place?
Merry Christmas.
Sega Enterprises presents Blue Stinger. Coming soon.
Classic shooting action here for the Famicom from Burai Fighter. As you may notice, it does look quite similar to Sega's own Forgotten Worlds. Except in this game, don't collect any money to go to the shop, you just collect power-up points. So the game has you set as this little guy with a jetpack and you fly along and blow the crap out of everything you see. Not much else to it, really. But then again, who needs a plot for the shooter? As I always said, you don't need one, do you? Got the various power-ups to collect along the way, such as lasers and homing missiles and so on. As default, your character shoots forward the way he's facing, but you can actually shoot upwards, diagonal, backwards, or whatever direction you want, by just letting go of the fire button and changing the direction on the D-pad. Then press down the fire button again and there you go, you're locked on shooting in that direction. Game modes include horizontal scrolling, vertical scrolling and even an overhead scrolling section, as you can see right now. So there is quite a bit of variety in there. The music's a bit on the dud side, but then again that never was one of the Famicom's stronger points, was it? You know, it does the job, I guess, and the sound effects are decent enough. As far as I remember, there are about 7 levels in this game, or is it 6 levels? Well, 6 or 7 thereabouts anyway. And they are quite challenging, and you know, you're not going to be finishing the game overnight. Well, At least as long as you don't play on the easiest level setting, that is. Oh yeah, Burai Fighter is quite a nice shooter, especially for the Nintendo. So I'm very happy to give it the RetroCore score of 7 out of 10. Actually well worth picking up if you can find a copy. Probably the very first colour Game Boy game I've ever had here on RetroCore. It's Ghosts and Goblins. Actually, for a colour Game Boy game, it's not actually too bad looking. It does look quite nice, actually. Well, when you look at it on a Game Boy screen, it looks quite nice. When you look at it on a big screen, which you are now, it does look a bit messy, but yeah, nevertheless, it is quite a faithful replica of the original arcade machine. Of course, there's quite a bit of animation missing from it, such as the famous Mooney shot when you climb up a ladder and he sticks his arse out. Yeah, and there are a few parts where Arthur walks over the background and actually you can see right through his face because he hasn't actually got black eyes, just got bloody hole where his eyes should be. But yeah, apart from that, it doesn't look too bad. I suppose as far as Game Boy games go, it sounds okay as well. But the major problem with Ghosts and Goblins, sorry, on the Color Game Boy, or the Game Boy Color, is the fact that it's got really shitty collision detection. Yep, sometimes you can be just walking along and then you suddenly find yourself falling to your doom. You just drop off the end of a platform or whatever. It's a real shame. The collision section can be a bit dodgy at times, because if it wasn't, this would have been one hell of a very, very good conversion. But as it stands, it's just slightly bald. We're going to give it the RetroCore score of 6 out of 10. So, whatever happened to? And in this case, whatever happened to the third Clockwork Knight game? Well, actually, in Japan there were 3 releases of Clockwork Knight. There were Clockwork Knight 1, Clockwork Knight 2, and Clockwork Knight Special Edition, which is basically Clockwork Knight 1 and 2 on one disc, which came in a special pack with a calendar and everything. But this Clockwork Knight game, which looks more like a Bomberman clone, never did see the light of day. So here we go with a bit of a RetroCore exclusive. And a big thanks goes out to the person who gave me this copy. Who, of course, I'm not going to mention who it was. So in this very early beta of the game, the aim of the game is just to kick your eggs or your bombs at the moving obstacles, such as the bowling pins and robots and so on. Once your egg hits the enemy, they disappear basically, and that's it. So it's a bit like Bomberman, where you used to kick your bombs at the enemies. Unfortunately, the eggs and bombs in this game don't explode, so the only way to kill the enemy is by actually booting the eggs at them. Of course, you can make them drop down a hole, which more likely than not you're going to fall down the hole than the enemy. It's quite easy to see why this game actually never got finished or even considered for release. Basically, it's boring. Of course, you know, the game is far from complete, but the AI is absolutely pathetic, and sometimes you find yourself just want just to switch the game off or to continue playing. I suppose the idea is okay, but the levels are just far too cluttered. You know, and it becomes more tedious and more of a chore to actually kill enemies than being fun, which is what games should be. This demo which we've got here only consists of 5 or 6 levels, I think. Can't really quite remember these days, but there's not much to it, and each of the levels do look basically like this. On the option screen you do have the ability to choose different areas and different levels, but most of them just crash the game or just go to a static screen, so there's not really that much to see. Growl. How was that for a bloody game name? Mind you, the Japanese name ain't much better. I think the Japanese name is called Runark or something like that. Anyway, here we go with Taito's attempt to take you out as an Indiana Jones looking character to fight against the evil animal poachers.
Drop dead, you scum!
You won't get away with it.
You just gotta love that voice acting, haven't you? Drop dead, you scam. Camp isn't even in it. Now, you may recognise this game from the Sega Mega Drive, where it was actually released in Japan. I think it actually did get released in the US as well. And the Mega Drive version of the game is absolutely bloody awful. Looks like shit, sounds like shit, actually plays like shit. But this arcade version isn't actually that bad, to be honest. Yeah, it does look a bit shitty for an arcade game. It does sound alright, and that voice acting is fucking amazing. It gives me laughs all the time. But how does it play? Well, actually, it does play quite well. Yeah, the controls are a little bit loose, and when you punch people, it doesn't actually feel as if you're connecting that much. But it's extremely satisfying because you can beat up about 20 thugs in one bloody sitting. As you can see on the screen now, there's quite a few thugs there. In fact, I think up to one point I counted about 20 different enemies on the screen at once. Throughout the game, our hero can pick up different items to aid him in his quest of beating up the sexy young ladies and the Oliver Twist rejects and so on. The items he can pick up are things such as machine guns, bazookas, swords, and even some whips for a bit of kinky action. What gets me though is why the hell are there a couple of sexy looking office ladies in the middle of the jungle? Bizarre. Definitely the guys over at Taito were smoking something when they made this game. One nice thing I do like is when you can attack people. It's when they're on the ground you can actually go from behind and sort of smack them over the head with your fists, or you can actually knee them in the face as well. Definitely a bit violent there. Throughout the game you get some little bonus rounds which you can see at the moment. In this case you've got to save the hawks from the boxes or the crates. If you don't save them in time, they get blown to smithereens by the exploding barrels.
Big bucks for me. think you're doing?
Also, should point out is when you save animals, then sometimes the animals' friends, that's what you could call them, I guess, come and aid you in your quest. So as you can see, we've just saved the reindeer, and of course, all the reindeers will come on now and aid me. Yeah, so Growl isn't actually that much. Yeah, so Growl isn't anything out of the ordinary, to be honest, apart from the fact that you're a guy out to save the animals from evil poachers who looks like Indiana Jones. I've got to say, that's slightly original, I guess. But as far as playability goes, yeah, there's nothing in it that hasn't been seen before. But the thing that does keep you coming is the bizarre locations that the game's set in. You know, always want to know what's coming around on the next level is certainly something that kept me playing this game. You know, what could be on the next level? You could be riding on the back of a bloody elephant, or you could be bloody ramming the elephant up a bloody rhino's ass, for all I know. So anyway, yeah, while Growl's not exactly going to be the champion of walk-along beat-em-ups out there, it's certainly good enough to keep you coming back for more. And Metrocore is very happy to give it the score of 7 out of 10. Being a big fan of F-Zero back in the days of the Super Famicom, I was actually anticipating this quite a lot, and I'm happy to say that E-Racer actually turned out to be very, very good. Far better than what I actually expected it to be. Basically, E-Racer is a successor's attempt at making an F-Zero type game for the mobile phone, and I've certainly done a great job. So far, I've got around about 8 or 9 cars to choose from, and a total of 9 different courses, with another 6 courses still available, which I have to download. The variety of the courses is also very good, ranging from complete tube style courses to actually open areas. At the moment we're going to see the loop course, which is one of the favourite ones. Very neon looking. Now actually on this video it does look a lot slower than what it actually does when you're playing on the mobile phone, probably due to the fact that when you scale the picture up to a TV size, it actually slows down the phone's processor or something. I don't know why, but games do run slow when you run them through the TV out. So as you can see, the graphics are very, very nice. Shitloads of transparencies in there, very, very smooth, and it's even got some shading on the spaceships as well. Control wise, it is actually very easy to control. Acceleration is automatic, thank God. You do have a brake, which can either be the A button or pull back on the D-pad. And you probably notice around the area that the little icons, these icons you actually pick up to fire out your enemies. This course you can see at the moment is definitely a rip-off of Castlevania, or Castlevania inspired. Shame the music isn't. Anyway, yeah, so the items that you pick up, you can fire it off by pressing up on the D-pad, or by pressing the number 2 button on the phone. I find it much easier to actually press the 2 button, to be honest. As well as weapons and so on. Throughout the course you can see little turbo pads, which of course when you drive over them send your ship jetting off down the course. Unfortunately, if you're playing like I was, you end up crashing into the wall more times than not. course that you can see now is the dragon course. It's actually very funny. Very nice course. You can actually fly into the dragon's mouth, which unfortunately you won't get to see. Never mind. Views for your ship are actually 3 different ones. You can have the standard back view, then a close-up view, and the cockpit view, which you can see right at the moment on this ghost course. So yeah, if you're on the Vodafone network and you do have access to a Mega Apple phone, then I certainly recommend downloading, well, for the fee of 530 yen, a copy of Eraser. You can get it from Success's homepage. Definitely worth getting. Retro Core is very happy to give Eraser the score of 7 out of 10. Probably one of the best racers for your mobile phone. No need for me to introduce this. One of the very first shell-shaded games to come out. In fact, not one of the very first, it was the very first shell-shaded game, or at least to my knowledge anyway, for a home console. Yeah, many people thought it might be Nintendo with their Zelda game, but nope, it was this Jet Set Radio by Sega. Okay, so what's the point in the game? Well, the point is basically to go around and tag the entire city with your graffiti. So to start off the game, you got to do various challenges to gain different characters or different partners, or basically so you can be in their gang, I guess. So as you can see there, you're just being given a demonstration by GAM, and now you have to do the exact same thing yourself. Manage to completely recreate what she did, and she'll become your partner. You have to do 3 challenges in total, this one being the actual 3rd challenge. Now remember, boys and girls, don't go graffiti in your city. You might get into a bit of trouble. Okay, so anyway, once you beat the challenges, she becomes on your team, and then you do a couple more challenges with a couple more different people of this particular graffiti group. Once you beat all of them, you can actually start playing the real game. So as you can see, I've got a few characters here to choose from. These are all characters which I've beaten so far.
Okay.
One thing which I really do love about Jet Set Radio is the music in it. It's so funky. And I read somewhere that it actually mixes the music on the fly, which if that's true, then it's certainly doing a very impressive job. Actually, the game, all the music in the game is fully software generated, none of it's CD streamed. Which is actually good, because even when the game's loading, you still get the music playing. Definitely one game to connect to your stereo and pump up that volume. As you can see, I'm doing a bit of graffiti here, and so happens that I'm writing my own name there, Yakumo. Actually, to do the graffiti, you have to do a series of motions on the analog pad, as you can see being created at the bottom of the screen. The bigger the graffiti you do, the more complicated the pad movements become. The Jet Set Radio is definitely a feast for the eyes. Absolutely wonderful game to look at. I don't even need to mention the order, you can hear that for yourself. But how does the game play? Well, that's something you can't really tell from looking at a video. Well, yeah, it plays really well, to be honest. I do have a couple of complaints about it. Sometimes I do feel that the characters move far too sensitive. Now, sometimes you can just sort of nudge the controller, and the next thing you know, you're jetted off into the middle of the bloody road, or getting ran over by a flipping truck, or in the case of this level, drowning in the bloody sewer. Yeah, but I guess if you do take the time to learn the controls, then you will be rewarded for it. First time around, the controls can be a right bitch, and seriously did piss me off when I first started playing the game. You know, trying to bloody skate up against the walls and bloody skate on absolutely unbelievably narrow barriers and so on. Yeah, but as I said, give it a bit of time, and you should find yourself getting used to the controls. So as you can see here, I'm making my own graffiti. This is the Retro Core logo. You can use this graffiti within the game, so you can actually write your own name all over the walls. You can do various things with the graffiti, such as make it into 3D, colour it in, choose different patterns and all sorts of stuff. Quite a nice little extra in the game, to be honest. In fact, there's things like this which really make Jet Set Radio stand out. So, how do we rate Jet Set Radio? Well, at first I didn't really like it that much. It sort of bloody pissed me off more than anything else. But once I got into it, it was actually a very fun game. So I'm very happy to give Jet Set Radio a good score of 8 out of 10. Definitely one of Retro Core's more higher recommended games. Making use of the Sega Saturn's 4MB RAM cartridge, this is Marvel Superheroes vs Street Fighter, and just wait till you see the state of the fucking loading times. Absolutely ridiculous. Just watch this. Now, weren't those loading times ridiculous? Ridiculous in the way that there weren't any loading times, it was actually straight into the game, just like the arcade machine. Yep, that's right, Marvel Superheroes vs Street Fighter actually has the fastest loading on any 2D beat 'em up on the Sega Saturn, PlayStation or any other machine of that era. In fact, even loads quicker than some of the bloody Dreamcast 2D shooters, 2D fighters. Anyway, We're not here to talk about the loading on this game. We're here to talk about how good the game is, or how shit the game is. Luckily, this game is actually very good to play. As you can see, we've got quite a few characters to choose from. All characters seem to be pretty well balanced as well, which makes a change. The physics in this game are actually quite a lot more loose than what you'd find in your standard Street Fighter title. So I do know a couple of people who are fans of the Street Fighter series who don't actually like the Versus series, mainly due to the fact that it's so fucking anal, and they just can't accept that their favourite characters, Ryu, Ken and Chun-Li and so on, can now jump 500 times higher than they could in their standard Street Fighter form. So as you can see, the characters are very well animated, and the backgrounds don't look too bad as well. But the whole thing that makes this game so fun to play is the actual action in it. You know, it's just non-stop, and there's no pausing between each character coming on. You can actually have up to 4 characters on screen at once, all full animation, all full speed, and no slowdown whatsoever. Definitely something that shows off the Sega Saturn's 2D powers. If there was one complaint about Marvel Super Heroes vs Street Fighter, that would be that the game is actually a little bit easy on the default level setting. With the default only being 2 stars, you are going to finish it on your first go. Well, at least I did anyway, and I'm sure most of you will do. So, what I do recommend is that you actually put this game up onto a higher level setting, you know, for your first game. That is if you're playing on your own. If you're having a 2-player bash, then of course no worries. As well as selecting 2 character tag match games, you also have the ability to call each character on to assist you as you're actually playing, which can be quite useful at times. So what you're probably wondering is, it worth actually buying this game if you already own the other Marvel Super Heroes games and some of the other Versus series on the Sega Saturn? Well, to be honest, yes. Marvel Super Heroes vs Street Fighter is the most exciting, the fastest, and basically it's the definitive Versus series 2D beat 'em up for the Sega Saturn. If you don't own this, then you're a bit of a sad bastard, because this is the one which you should be owning. Unfortunately, if you're the owner of a non-Japanese system, such as an American or a PAL system, you're going to have to get yourself that 4-in-1 action replay cartridge. Either that or mod your Saturn so you can play this. But I tell you, it's well worth just picking up the action replay cartridge, you know, just for this game. Definitely worth the price. RetroCode is very happy to give Marvel Super Heroes vs Street Fighter the RetroCode Game of the Month. It's going to get a lovely score of 10 out of 10.
Continue! 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0! Game over.
I'm sure you've all seen Parodius, available for the Sega Saturn, probably the PlayStation, and the Super Famicom, and arcade of course. Here we have the PC Engine version, which has actually got a very nice intro, which isn't on the other versions. Very nice extra there for PC Engine fans. So as we kick off the game, you can see that it's got the selection of 4 characters, which all the other versions have. And of course I'm going the Octopus, my favourite one of the lot. Mainly because he's a bit of a perverted skibby, or skibby I should say, which is Japanese for pervert. Well, I'm sure you didn't need to know such useless crap information. Anyway, off we go. For those who don't know, Parodius is actually a take on Konami's other game, Gradius. Hence the name, Parody, Gradius, Parodius. Must have took them fucking ages to think of that one. A nice point about this version is that you do actually have a choice of level settings, such as easy, normal and hard, which I'm pretty sure the Super Famicom version didn't, and I definitely know the Sega Saturn version doesn't. Now while this PC Engine version does look actually pretty much like the Super Famicom version, it does suffer from 1 or 2 problems, such as a little bit of slowdown and also loading. Every now and then when the bosses come on, the screen does pause for a split second while it sort of decrunches the information and loads it into the machine's RAM. But, you know, that's not too much of a problem, to be honest. Animation's a little bit less than the Super Famicom version as well, but considering this is running on an 8-bit PC Engine, it's bloody amazing what Konami managed to pull off. One thing that actually surprised me about this version is the sound on it. It's absolutely fantastic. Sometimes the PC Engine can really surprise me, because you'll see some PC Engine games which just look like shit, and then you got stuff like this which does look genuine 16-bit quality. Just a shame that the game never came out in Europe, or the machine never came out in Europe I should say. Well actually it did, it came out in France but it didn't come out in the UK. There was just one little annoying thing about the PC Engine version of Parodius. That would be the fact that when you're trying to get your bell powered ups, well, sometimes when the actual boss characters come on, or when the game loads in a little bit, the actual bell powered ups disappear. You know, it can be really annoying when you've just got it to the colour that you want and you're just about to pick it up, and the next thing you know it's bloody vanished. But, you know, that's just one little problem, which isn't really that much of a big one, to be honest. It doesn't affect the gameplay that much. As well as having the normal game, there's also a special mode which is for the PC Engine only, which you can actually see right now. At the moment I'm playing as a Big Viper as well from Gradius. This special mode is like a non-stop continuous game, so even if you get killed you do actually continue from the exact point where you die, whereas in the normal game you get sent back to either the beginning of the level or a restart point within the level. There's nothing too special about this special stage, to be honest, apart from the fact that it's just continuous, but it does feature some enemies and sprites which aren't available in the normal game, such as little tiny versions of the little cat monster which you saw just before, which is normally taken from the first level, and also some smaller versions of the big ship level, which are pretty nice to see. So altogether, Parodius on a PC Engine gets a nice score of 7 out of 10. It is a little bit basic by today's standards, but it's still pretty good. Okay, kicking off the Super Famicom top 10 is Super Nazo Puyo Puyo 2. Now the thing that I like about this game more than the other Puyo Puyos is the fact that you can play the normal style Puyo Puyo game, as you can see now, but it also has a RPG style version, which consists of many Puyo Puyo type puzzles. And at number 9, it's Kill Instinct. The over the top, completely fucking crazy combo system made this game actually quite interesting to play, far better than that crappy Mortal Kombat. Not to mention the killer soundtrack. Nice one there. Number 8 got Majin Tensei 2 Spiritual Nemesis. Absolutely wonderful cyberpunk turn-based action strategy game by Atlas. Still going quite strong to this day. Just listen to the soundtrack, absolutely amazing for the Super Famicom. And at number 7 got Super Turrican 2. While the soundtrack isn't as punchy as the original game, it sure makes up for that in the amount of different levels. The amount of variety in this game is absolutely amazing, as you can see right now from the video. How can you have a Super Famicom top 10 and not feature F-Zero? The original cyber racing game. Still actually quite frantic and fun to play even to this day. Definite must for all gamers. If you've never tried this one out, try it out now. Super Street Fighter 2. Yeah, probably the game that made the Super Famicom sell as many units as it did. Capcom were for the Super Famicom what Squaresoft are for the PlayStation. Or Namco, come to mention it. Compile does it again, managing to get to number 4 in the Super Famicom Top 10 with Super Unreleased. The first shooter for the Super Famicom that didn't suffer from slowdown. It just happens to be the one which has the most sprites moving as well. Draw Dracula, making it into this week's number 3. Konami certainly were one of the more prominent game producers for the Super Famicom, and with Super Castlevania being one of the first games, they certainly started off on the right foot. Well, graphically it doesn't look too hard apart from a couple of motor effects. It is actually one hell of a kick-ass game to play, and that soundtrack is legendary. Contra Spirits, or better known as Pro Protector in the UK, or Contra 3 in the US. Another Konami classic. Absolutely rock solid on the higher level settings, non-stop action all the way. Pure classic if ever there was one. Unfortunately, after this Contra game, a lot of the other Contra games were completely utter shite. And finally, number 1. Retrocore reckons Final Fantasy VI, or Final Fantasy 3 in the US, is the best Super Famicom game ever. Of course, you may not agree with that, but I couldn't give two shits. That's what I think's the best game, and that's all that counts. I'm a big-headed bastard, aren't I? Ooh, just look at that lovely water. Power Jet Racing 2001 here for the Sega Dreamcast, also known as Power Rocket Racing or something bloody dumb like that in the United States. Wasn't originally going to feature this on Retrocore, but after reading the review on I think it was IGN, I thought, fuck's sake, I better put it on Retrocore to get the message across that this game ain't as shit as IGN make it out to be. Now what I read was this game has no splash effects, which you can clearly see it does there. I also read that every single character controls exactly the same, which again is bullshit. Every character does control differently. I also read that the backgrounds looked like they were made out of bloody cardboard. Well, true, some of the trees do look like they're made of cardboard, but I wouldn't say the whole backgrounds did. And then I also read that the game was absolutely a sack of shit with no variety. Something tells me that those arseholes didn't play past the first bloody level. And again, that's nothing new, is it? The Edge magazine in the UK does that sometimes. Or at least it did. So yeah, while Power Jet Racing isn't the best jet racing game out there, it isn't exactly a complete disaster. You do have a variety of characters, and each character does control differently. And you're not going to be able to control the characters the first time you play the game. It does take quite a while to get used to the actual movements of the jet ski. But once you got that sorted, the game is actually very good. As you can see here on the Amazon course, it does move at quite a fair pace. There are a variety of courses to choose from, including a couple of weird ones. But even the weird ones are actually fun to play. As well as playing normal races, you've also got a couple of challenger modes that you can see here, which include various things as doing stunts or knocking down certain numbers and what the Japanese like to call a PK shootout. You've also got this nice little mode called Balloon Challenge, where you have to burst a load of balloons as you're racing around the course. Pretty much like you see in the aero dancing games really, but that's not surprising considering this comes from the exact same producers.
Wow, look at this! Now, go for the finish line!
So yeah, graphically the game is very nice. It runs a solid 30 frames a second in the Dreamcast high resolution. The water effects are absolutely amazing. You know, CRI have certainly spent a lot of time doing the water. You got a choice of views as well. You got your standard behind the player view, you got a cockpit view, and you got a back view as well, which is quite handy to see which sneaky buggers are sneaking up on you. So all in all, this ain't such a bad game as some people try and make it out to be. So I'd like to give it a nice score of 6 out of 10, or maybe a possible 7 out of 10. Shite in the mouth. Kashida Moji D, better known as Initial D, this man's shite of the mouth. Now looking at the demo here, you might think, well, doesn't look that bad. But this is the very own demo. Rolling demos are made to make the game look better. But let me tell you what this rolling demo doesn't show you is the bloody pop-up right in front of your car. It doesn't show you how shit the car controls. And it doesn't show you how fucking shit the game is altogether. But has a good point to this game. It's got loads of lovely loading screens, as you can see right now. In fact, it loads all the bloody time. That's why there's so many loading screens. So here we go with the actual game. First thing you notice is the track popping up right in front of me. Not only is the draw distance absolutely terrible, but the actual graphics themselves are also really bad. Now look at the textures, they're blocky as hell. You know, and the polygons warp all over the place as well. There's just no reason for it. And the controls, forget about them. Probably the worst controls in the racing game I've ever witnessed. Far too sensitive and completely unrealistic. So Initial D on the Sega Saturn is this month's Shite of the Month. Retro Course special here on Snatcher. Snatcher's been around since 1988, first appeared on the PC-88 Japanese PC and also the MSX2 in Japan. Other versions available are for the PC Engine CD-ROM, the Mega CD, which in fact is the only version to ever be produced in English, and also the Sega Saturn and the Sony PlayStation. At the moment we can see the Sega Saturn version. So we're going to have a little look at the Sega Saturn intro here, and then we're going to switch over to the Mega CD intro to see what the differences are. The Mega CD version is actually got a few extra bits in which the Sega Saturn version doesn't have, but the Sega Saturn version does have all the new CG intros and some artworks being redone, such as the Sony PlayStation version. The Sony PlayStation version of Snatcher is actually censored quite a lot, and some of the more gorier scenes, and such as the decapitation of heads and whatever, are all pixelated or toned down. But the Sega Saturn's got all the lovely gore in there.
Is it a new form of weapon?
So here we go with the Mega CD intro. As you can hear, it's in English. Graphically, it doesn't look that much different from the Saturn version. Well, apart from the colours, that is.
Employing an artificial skin, they can sweat and even bleed. Part organic, part machine. They're almost impossible to distinguish from those they kill.
Makes me wonder, really, was the Sega Mega CD being the worst one for sales? How come this was the only version which was ever made into English? The mind boggles, or the mind boggles, I should say. So as you can see, so far it's pretty much the same as the Saturn version, and the PC Engine version, and the PlayStation version. But as you'll see coming up right now, it's actually got an extra little bit which isn't available in the Sega Saturn or the PlayStation version. This part of the game, this part of the intro was actually taken out and turned into a CG intro for the Saturn and PlayStation. But to be honest, they look pretty shit. It does actually look a lot better as graphics, which you can see right now. As far as I remember, this version, this section's also in the PC Engine version.
So here we are at the actual game scenes of the Sega Saturn version. As you can see, it's all in Japanese. Unfortunately, the Saturn or PlayStation versions never got released into English.
どうも失礼しました。私はジャンカー本部のインフォメーション兼オペレーターをしています。ミカ・スレイトンです。よろしく。シードさん。
ギリアンでいいよ、ミカ。ギリアンと呼んでくれ。
それじゃあギリアン、本部内への扉を開けるわ。
You're probably wondering what the hell he's talking about. Well, that'll all become clear in a minute when we put the Mega CD version on. But let me tell you a little bit more about Snatcher. Not only were the normal versions of Snatcher the game available, but there were also versions of the CDs available, such as the soundtracks, and also some special games such as Snatcher SD, which appeared on the MSX in 1990. There's also a lovely pilot disc as well, available for the PC Engine Super CD-ROM.
ギリアン、気をつけてください。動体反応が複数あります。スナッチャーあるいはインセクターが潜んでいるかもしれません。
なんだそのインセクターって。
スナッチャーが警戒センサー用に使う雲型ロボット。
So as you can see here, we've got a little robot friend here, and the little robot friend is actually Metal Gear. Now I wonder where they got that name from. Now this section you're about to see here on the Saturn version is actually a section which is censored on the PC Engine version. No, not the PC Engine version, sorry. The PlayStation version. It's a scene where the guy's got his head decapitated. Originally the Mega CD version was also going to be censored, but it looks like Konami had a bit of sense and released an uncensored version of the game. But there are actually screenshots available of the game actually censored. So here we are back with the Mega CD version. Got a few little extra bits in there. As you can hear, the music's a little bit different, and as you can see, the graphics are a lot more detailed than the Saturn and PlayStation version. But it's in English, and that's what's important, because now we have a clue what they're talking about.
Oh, you're Mr. C. Please forgive me. My name is Mika Slayton. I'm the administrative assistant and operator here at Junker headquarters. Very pleased to meet you.
And surprisingly, the voice acting is actually pretty good. Usually when they dub things into English, they sound like shit.
Oh no!
What was that?
A male scream. Perhaps something has happened to Jean-Jacques. Gillian, please use extreme caution.
Actually, I do prefer the Mega CD and PC Engine version sound than the Saturn and PlayStation versions, but maybe that's just me. Graphically, I prefer the Saturn and PlayStation version for graphics, well, apart from the censored PlayStation parts. But sound-wise, I do actually like the Mega CD and PC Engine versions much more.
Little John?
Yes, Jean-Jacques Gibson's personal navigator.
Originally, I was planning to bring you the PC-88 version of Snatcher, but unfortunately, my bloody disc has died. So I'll have to search for a new disc image now. But not to worry, because I've still got an old 8-bit version to show you. Here's in fact the MSX version. So take a look at this. So here you can see the 8-bit version of Snatcher. This is the MSX version for the MSX2, and as you can hear, it sounds absolutely bloody awful. Like I said before, I wanted to show you the PC-88 version, to be honest, which actually does look and sound a hell of a lot better than the MSX version. But unfortunately, thanks to the disc image dying, you're going to be stuck with the MSX one. which actually did come in a sound cartridge as well, and a couple of floppy disks. So as you see, the Snatcher title screen looks quite nice. The actual game does play in more of a box than the other versions, and the graphics are pretty basic really. They are quite low in colour, and the sound is pretty awful, as you can hear. And also the way you actually choose options, you know, to look around and go forward, ask questions and so on, is actually different as well. In the other versions you do have a cursor which you can use to select the different options, but in the MSX version you actually have to press the number keys to choose which options you want. So let's have a look at the nice decapitated guy. Yeah, lovely. He reminds me of the days of playing on the Spectrum. Star Wars for the Famicom or Star Wars for the Famicom or NES, as it's known in the West. Now this isn't exactly the version that you might have played. This is actually the Japanese only released version by Namco, which is really weird because the Japanese did actually get the Western version as well. Oh, there you go, Lucky Bugger's got 2 sets of Star Wars. Anyway, this game is completely different than the one by LucasArts released by JVC, as you're about to see. So here we go, R2-D2 just give a little message to Luke there. So off we go on our challenge. First we got to get to Tatooine. So we have Luke Skywalker, and now we've got black hair, so it looks like he's dyed his hair in this version just to be trendy. And he smacks a couple of shits with his lightsaber. How the hell he got a lightsaber during this time, I don't know. But as you can see, his lightsaber can also shoot as well. Amazing, isn't it? But you know, let's not just poke fun at the ideas in the game. Actually, the game doesn't look too bad, and it does play out very, very well indeed. I was quite surprised when I actually picked this one up for the first time. The controls of Luke are actually very, very tight, and they'll have you jumping all over the place. So as you can see, we've got a face Darth Vader here, who actually turns into a bloody worm once you kill him, or some sort of mutant anyway. Don't remember that happening in the movie. So not only do you have the standard walk on platform levels, but as you can see here, we got our little speeder bike, or not speeder bike, sand buggy, what the fuck it was called. And we jump into our Millennium Falcon and off we go. Even though the game contains many different variations in play, you'd expect some of them to be a bit naff, but to be honest, they are all actually quite solid. You know, platform sections are solid enough. These 3D shooting sections in the Millennium Falcon are pretty good, and even the overhead shooting sections in the Bi-Wing are pretty good as well. All in all, Star Wars by Namco on the Famicom is an excellent game, worth a nice 8 out of 10.
Trapped in a new world of Street Fighter 3. The third chapter, so what's it gonna be? You're trapped in a new world of Street Fighter 3. Make your first move, so what's it gonna be? You're trapped in a new world of Street Fighter 3. The third chapter, so what's it gonna be? The third strike, y'all, is Street Fighter 3. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3.
Welcome to the world of Street Fighter 3.
I remember in my teenage days I used to be thinking, when the fuck are bloody Capcom gonna start making Street Fighter 2 and bring out a sequel? You know, you had Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, Super Street Fighter 2 and all those bloody knockoffs, Street Fighter 2 Dragon Edition, Street Fighter 2 Show, throw bloody fireballs in midair, Street Fighter 2 bloody Speedy Edition and all shit like that. Well, eventually after a couple of years, Capcom did make a sequel to Street Fighter 2, which was Street Fighter 3. Originally titled, I must say. But anyway, easy enough to follow, I guess. And all of those Street Fighter 3 games are actually available for the Sega Dreamcast. Two of them being available on the Street Fighter 3 Double Impact disc. And then this one, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, which I must say is definitely the best Street Fighter in the entire series. The thing about Street Fighter 3 Third Strike is not only does it look beautiful with the sort of animation you'd expect from the other 2D fighters such as Guilty Gear, Street Fighter always did look a bit on the stiff side, to be honest, but not this one. Capcom have done a pretty good job of keeping all the characters well balanced in this version of Street Fighter. You know, each character has their own weakness and strong points, but there are no characters which are practically impossible to beat. Yep, the good old bonus rounds are back, and as always the bonus rounds just bore the shit out of me. In this one you see we've got to beat the shit out of a car. Other bonus rounds include trying to block basketballs, which is even more tedious. Special mention must go to the audio in Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. Absolutely wonderful, and they've made really good use of the cue sounds. If you hook it up to your stereo, just play it through a normal stereo, no Dolby Surround sound shit and all that. You get some really, really good effects. It actually does sound like it's in surround sound. Each character also has a selection of special moves which they can do, such as the super finisher. Each character has 3 different specials. In Ken's case, he's got a Hurricane Kick, a Dragon Punch, and I believe a Fireball as well. As you can see at the moment, I'm using the Dragon Punch one.
You win.
So is it worth getting Street Fighter 3 Third Strike if you already own a multitude of other 2D beat-em-ups on the Sega Dreamcast? Well, yeah, it is, because it's different enough to warrant the purchase. I'd say if you've got Double Strike, or sorry, Double Impact on the Dreamcast, then I'd think about selling that and pick up yourself a copy of Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. Unfortunately in Japan this game is quite pricey, so if you're going to import it, expect to pay a pretty penny. So altogether, Retrocode's very happy to give Third Strike a lovely score of 8 out of 10. Oh, and by the way, the game does run in high resolution, but there is a cheat where you hold down A and start button when the Capcom logo appears, which will make the game run in its good old low resolution arcade mode. So that should keep all your arcade freaks happy. Wonderful classic from my childhood, this one. This is Wonder Boy for the Sega Master System. Fans of the Nintendo or the Nintendo Entertainment System may know this game as Adventure Island by Hudson Soft. Well, in fact, there is quite a bit of a strange story between Wonder Boy and Adventure Island, but I'll leave that for another time, to be honest. Now, the Sega Master System version, which you can see here, is pretty much identical to the arcade. Well, graphics are a little bit smaller, but the colours are there, and it's far more jolly looking than what the Nintendo version was. Master Higgins always came along as being a bit of a fat ponce to me anyway. So the aim of the game is to get back your girl, and throughout the levels you'll find these little bits of fruit to pick up. Now these fruits actually keep your vitality up. If you don't actually eat the fruit, you do actually lose vitality, and once you have no vitality you just sort of snuff it. A bit weird, but there you go anyway. Throughout each level you'll find a little doll as well, which you must collect to actually get through the exit at the end of the level. What's the point of these dolls? Well, your guess is as good as mine, but whatever the point is, you do need them. Weapons to pick up throughout the game include axe and a nice little skateboard. You do have a couple of little friends to help you on the way, or one little friend to help you on the way, which is an angel, which you can see now, which gives you invincibility, as I just run through those little purple people. The little bugger that follows you around is the opposite of the angel. It's actually a Grim Reaper, and the Grim Reaper actually takes away your vitality bar at the top, the little bastard. Each world consists of 4 stages, and there are actually quite a few worlds as well. As far as I remember, there was 8 or so. Been that long since I completed the game, can't really remember. But I do remember one thing: the game will keep you going for an awful long time. It's definitely not one game you're going to finish overnight. The playability in Wonder Boy is spot on, to be honest. You know, falling off a platform is usually down to your own faults rather than bad game mechanics. To the hardened game, I'd probably say that Wonder Boy might be a little bit easy, but to the majority of us out there, it actually is quite a challenge, and some of the later platform levels, especially the ice ones, are right bastards to complete. And if you're pulling your hair out, or if you're a big baby, they'll probably have you smashing your joypad on the floor. So Retro is very happy to give Wonder Boy on the Sega Master System a wonderful score, 8 out of 10.